see how ZDZ is going to be prepared for that. But Taliyah going to be locked in here in the mid lane. Curious to see exactly what anyone's legend want to try and pair alongside that. Looks like it will be the Trundle, which has kind of come out for that traditional answer into the pop.
Are you ready? This is going to be a Trundle top now because Shanji's about to lock in the tank Shyvana.
Yeah,
and we'll get
the old school counter. Jeez.
Full crazy top lane. That would be something to watch for sure. We'll see though where OMG are going to go. Feel like bot lane could be an answer. Maybe you go for a mid lane either. But I mean, Renata's still available. So you could have just Aphelios Renata. Seems pretty good for Abel and Cold.
Yeah, you take those. I mean, Renata are going to be great as well, especially when you see the Trundle. You know at least that some members here are going to be running into you. Taliyah, relatively short ranged as well. So having that safety net for the Aphelios is going to work out spectacularly. The only option, though, is maybe they want to go towards something in the mid lane to answer this Taliyah. We've seen the Rise come through a lot. Creme is a big Akali player. So looks like he's going to go for that one. I'm not certain, though, because Taliyah definitely works relatively well against people with multiple dashes, thanks to the Unraveled Earth, and Akali definitely has, one or two dashes in her kit.
Yeah, not the funnest matchup in the mid lane, but hey, happy to go for that one as ZDC locks in a top laner here. So pretty drastically different lock-ins. We've got the mid lane matchup, we've got our jungle matchup, and then we have a top laner and a bottom lane. So Rumble taken off the board, Shanji's Rumble removed. Is it going to be a Shyvana ban as well? Do you just take both of Shanji's signatures away?
You definitely do. I mean, Xiaohao actually works out really well against the Gangplank because the slow allows her to trade really effectively and doesn't really make a massive difference then for Gangplank's oranges there. You just have such massive speed buff to keep in on top of the Gangplank. So I'd imagine you actually do ban the Xiaohao here realistically. And then it becomes interesting to see what the next game plan is going to be. Because I was going to say, well, Renata still slips through the draft. 80 carries that can do well against the Aphelios taken off the board. The Lucian gone. Zeri gone. Maybe you take the Jinx away here as well. Just to deny that like full late game scaling here for anyone's legend.
Yeah, we'll see. Where the side of OMG are going to go in terms of that bottom lane. In terms of the bans at least. Has anyone's legend trying to figure out the puzzle that is beating this OMG squad, because it does feel like a very different beast to every other team in the LPL. Misfortune, not a ban I was necessarily expecting, but it's something that we've seen small amounts of across the course of not just the LPL, but globally there's been a few Misfortune picks. We'll see where anyone's legend are going to go, though. Oh, it's a Draven for Betty. They are taking it to the Aphelios.
I like this. You got your late game scaling for ZDZ in the top side of the map. You can go aggressive as all hell now for Betty in this bot side of the map as well. And this has kind of been the way that anyone's legend have been playing. Like, you look at ZDZ's top picks at the moment. Camille, Jax, Gangplank, all kind of been the hyper scaling option for anyone's legend. Whereas then when you look across at Betty, it's been things like the Callista, the Lucian. I mean, he's even played the Misfortune, the Ezreal, like these more mid-game focused pick, providing a ton of opportunities in the mid-game to have those fights and then scale with ZDZ into the late.
Definitely feels that way. Cole gonna go with his namesake in that Braum to try and protect Abel. I don't know if that's gonna work out for them. We'll have to wait and see. Shanji, though, not looking at Shyvana, looking at Gwen. And since the changes on 12-13, Gwen is an absolute monster late in the game.
Yeah, the only thing that I'm seeing, though, is no engage at all on OMG's side. So have to be incredibly careful. I actually like the Amumu here, kind of, because you can get the big engages off. You get a lot of safety then for Betty on the backside as well. You just have to be so careful against the Poppy, because that steadfast presence can be such a nuisance to deal with. But on OMG's side, I'm struggling to figure out like how you enable something like the Aphelios in these fights. Like, it's very easy for anyone's legend kind of poke you out with ZDZ, with Forge, and then if you ever try and engage, I mean, Xiaohao has the opportunity to like steal away a bunch of stats from whoever goes in on him. Betty then becomes enabled. QiuQiu should be able to then get these more defensive ultimates off. It feels like anyone's legend kind of have a lot of answers to what OMG want to do. And when we talked about OMG wanting to play through strong early game, because that's how they've won their games, it doesn't really feel like they have the ways of pushing that advantage forward.
Yeah, feels like it could be a tough one. I'm going to be honest. When it comes to games with Draven in them, I worry less about the grand scheme of things and worry more about, did Draven get adoration stacks? That's always the win condition in my head. Can they get Betty early kills? And if they can, things are going to look good. If not, maybe not so much. We'll have to wait and see. Because that bottom lane, in my mind, is going to be the focus for both sides. Because I feel like we have very aggressive bot laners. Like, this Aphelios does not really lean towards the style that we're used to seeing from Abel. Like, when you think of Abel, you think of Callista, you think of Samira, these really aggressive AD carries. Aphelios, while you can be aggressive on it, not necessarily the pick that you think of. And he's up against Betty and QiuQiu, who... Betty, historically not a player that you would think of being that aggressive, but in this version of Anyone's Legend, alongside QiuQiu, he has massively ramped up that aggression and bringing out the Draven once more.
Yeah, we're looking absolutely spectacular as he does that as well. And the way that we've seen Anyone's Legend play is a lot of pressure down towards this bottom side, trying to enable Betty, and I mean, that fits perfectly when you've got a Draven in your mix as well. So we're going to have to see exactly how this one's going to pan out. It definitely feels like the Amumu pickup going to be much more about trying to snowball this lane in that bot side to make sure that you can get yourself into a good spot for this Draven.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to set him up. QiuQiu on that Amumu as well, it just feels good, right? It's very much become his signature pick over the course of this split. And now, every time he locks it in, I'm excited because there are almost always shenanigans. Like, this is a man that wants to go ham, and Amumu just allows him to do exactly that.
The shenaniganery is off the charts with this Amumu pick, as you like to put it.
I want to mention some other shenaniganery.
Okay.
This is the first time that Betty has ever played Draven competitively. I just had a look at his all-time stats. He has never played this on stage before. This is not a champion that is easy to do without any practice. Vision comes out from Anyone's Legend. QiuQiu dropping that ward onto the red buff. But it looks like Xiaohao decides not to go for the chickens or anything. So a little bit of a late invade there from AL. A TP out from Shanji. Oh, Shanji was there. I didn't even realize. I thought that was the mid laner.
No, they were a bit worried about Shanji being there, so they decided to back away and keep themselves safe from that one. So Xiaohao will be a little bit late going through his jungle, but much better than ending up in an unwanted 5 versus 5 this early in the game. Because Xiaohao, though, wasn't able to get the split map that he wanted, it does mean that he's going to have to teeter back up towards that top end, which isn't the best for Betty and QiuQiu, who would love to be able to play aggressive, but knowing, at least for the moment, that Aki's in mid and moving down up towards his top side, it will help them out in going that bit more aggressive in that bot lane.
Yeah, it certainly will. As, you can see Creme trying to get some damage onto forward. You saw Aki trying to help him push that one in. Aki moving into Xiaohao's jungle here to steal away some chickens, gets a ward down as well, so he'll spot when Xiaohao turns up towards that top side. You see pings from Xiaohao on towards that red buff. But I think Aki might actually be trying to go for the red buff himself. This could get dicey, though. He doesn't have priority in the mid lane. All in the bottom side, though. Exhaust onto Betty, and that'll keep Cold alive. Yeah,
the Creme was trying to get priority in this mid lane with Aki so they could go for the invade, but you can see there, right? Instantly, Taliyah gets it back. So now Forge needs to be careful about Aki coming in off this flank position. They know Aki's here.
They do, but Forge is caught. It's going to be Ghost and Flash used. But it will keep Forge safe, crucially. He'll survive in this mid lane. No kill comes out from OMG, so they don't get the invade off. And now Aki get a face check into Xiaohao. This is not a 1v1 that Poppy can realistically win. The pillar not quite able to pin Poppy, though. It will be Xiaohao able to grab this Scuttle Crab, or will it be? Because Shanji is moving on over here. Creme escapes with his life, and Aki will actually grab the crab in the end.
We'll get the bot side crab here for Xiaohao, though, but in response, Aki's going to take the Krugs on the top side of the map. So, bit of an advantage here in the grand scheme of things for Aki, who should just be able to walk around. ZDZ, just trying to see if he can spot out what the movement was, and takes a few hits off of Shanji for his troubles.
Yeah, but crucially as well, doesn't spot Aki, right? He was trying to get vision onto Aki on this top side. Aki will be able to grab the Krugs, and I feel like Aki has basically no interest in farming his own jungle this game. He has spent this entire game just trying to get into Xiaohao's space, trying to get into Forge's face. He's burnt both summoners in the mid lane, grabs the Krugs, managed to get the chickens earlier on as well. Feels like a very aggressive start for Aki, and I'm loving it.
Xiaohao is responding well, though, moving down to steal the Krugs on the opposite side of the map as well. And I'm curious to see now if he actually starts to move in towards the Raptors up here as well, see if he can get them off of resets, because the entire top side of the map is up for Aki, so you'd imagine Aki's going to move up there, but maybe it's a gank instead.
Just a gank and dive by the looks of things, but with Infernum, I think Abel and Cold should be able to clear this wave away. Should be a difficult one to actually pull a dive off on, especially since Aki has now been able to go for a reset, has a couple of ruby crystals for himself, and will return to his jungle once more. So, kind of a tense early game considering there have been no kills whatsoever, but Dragon now onto the map, as you can see in the bottom left corner. We're broaching the 5-minute mark. Our junglers, all things considered, end up fairly even.
The may change though, because look at where Aki's moving to. Gonna go and invade on the Raptors on that top side, because you know Xiaohao has a reset and he has a very slow clear. So Aki is responding again.
Once.
No,
he
and
literally
honestly,
has never a wolf scrub poor blue buff.
Yeah, and honestly, like, he doesn't really need to try and go towards that anytime soon, right? It's not like either his top or his mid particularly use the blue buff very well as Xiaohao.
Okay, Cold in trouble here, bit of damage coming down, forces the flash. Abel now next target, but Betty doesn't really have the damage to do that one by himself just yet. So again, trying to burn those summoners. That's Cold Splash on cooldown. Aki moving into the top side here, but CDZ will be safe.
I think the problem though is that because we've seen Xiaohao focus so heavily on bot side, trying to match a lot of the gank pressure, or sorry, the map pressure that Aki's putting down with moving around between all these camps, Forge isn't able to get control over mid. He's starting to fall behind, and Creme is able to roam up towards this top side, and now putting pressure on ZDZ. So even though the junglers are ending up with matching camps mostly, it's actually just the pressure that OMG are getting from those plays is working out well for them so far.
Yeah, and the plate does end up going down. ZDZ will be able to sweep up most of this. Luckily for him, there was a cannon available there. So realistically, the vast majority of these minions, he'll be able to CS for himself. And you can see only 3 CS down even after that play. Has the cull stacking up, has the Gangplank passive too with the parlay. So feels like in terms of gold, he'll still be all right off the back of this play.
Yeah, but I like what I'm seeing from OMG, right? Aki, as you say, being hyper-aggressive, now kind of leaning that in towards his laners as well, especially when you look towards people like Creme, who want to try and babysit themselves through the early stages. Now having the level 6, he's got a bit of more kill pressure on towards Forge, especially if Forge ever uses the Unraveled Earth to try and clear a wave. That's where Creme can try and go aggressive. The reverse is said, though, for Xiaohao. He's waiting on 6 for QiuQiu. He knows that Cold has no flash. They would love to try and make a play, maybe even over the next over the next minute or so, because you want to try and make something happen for this Rift Herald on the top side.
Yeah, it's 40 seconds until that one's going to come up onto the map. We'll see if either team does. Oh, nice little knockback there onto Creme. I mean, it's Taliyah. It's not exactly got crazy upfront damage there, so will be a nice bit of harassment, not too much more. As Betty moves over to help Xiaohao on the Drake. QiuQiu gonna Spider-Man his way away from Aki, who flashes into the pit, looks for the smite here. It's a 50-50, it resets, but Aki gets it in the end. And now the rest of the team just brawling in the pit. It's an absolute bloodbath here, but it looks like OMG winning it out in the end. Abel in the middle of everyone, trying to finish these health bars off. Flashes over the wall as he looks for Xiaohao as well. One more auto would do the trick, but the smite from Xiaohao. Red buff, no, not even needed. Abel takes the kill.
A 3-for-1 in the end in favor of OMG, and they got the dragon. Great reaction from OMG for anyone's legend moving across, and crucially, you said we got to keep our eyes on those adoration stacks before this game started. That's a death for the Draven, and no cheers are coming his way.
Absolutely not. Half of his adoration stacks will be rinsed. And that means a huge wave at the bottom side as well goes in. Let's take another look as QiuQiu started off in a dicey fashion, getting slammed against the wall, but still gets his Q off on the Drake.
And the problem here is that you don't really pick a direction here as anyone's legend, right? They realize the dragon's so low, so they try to go into a 43 health there. But if you'd actually just committed on towards the bot side of the play, Cold has no flash, maybe you can take the fight that way onto Abel, onto Cold, get some kills back, and then return on towards the rest of the OMG. But because they're so focused on the dragon, they all end up getting caught out in the pit. No one's able to turn on to Abel, who's free hitting. Creme ends up on the opposite side of Forge's wall, so he's a massive nuisance in this fight. And we know what Creme is like when he gets ahead on these melee assassins. He is so good on these types of champions.
Yes, he is. 102. 102 for the Aphelios of Abel as well. And crucially, I just want to say, Aki is an absolute Chad. The way that this guy jungles is like no other, honestly. Just flashes into the pit, blind, because he knows the Drake is happening. Xiaohao's caught here, Caliber being used. There's the stun channeled as Creme is moving over to the play as well. This is disaster for AL. They're going to fall behind because the side Mummy maybe can turn things around, but 2 down already. 2 more kills for the Aphelios as Betty tries to get it done. He finds 1, but it's after he dies. He doesn't get the stacks. And now Creme and Forge in a 1v1, and Creme happy to take it.
3-0-4 for this Akali. Creme is monstrous on this pick right now. Aphelios at 3 kills.
He's got 10 stacks.
Like,
he's got a dog suit with 10 stacks.
It's insane. It's
That's
insane.
A minute.
Creme is so damn big. And big mistake from Xiaohao. Like, where's the control that you have? Like, Abel and Code are right the way back. Creme is able to come in off the push that's in mid as well. And look, this is a 3 versus 4, sorry, for a large portion of this. But you've got the Infernum there for Abel, getting so much AoE damage off. And Creme just able to chase down Forge at the end of this. I mean, OMG, we wanted them with an early lead. Oh my god, they're getting leads everywhere.
Shanji. He's feeling a little bit left out up on the top side, so he's like, you know what? I'll grab a kill for myself as well. I don't need no team to make it happen, though. Just walks in and finds a solo kill onto ZDZ. Crucially, ZDZ had only just teleported as well. So I'm not sure how that happened. We can see a replay here as it's just the power of that needle. Yeah. Oh, predicting the flash as well.
Beautifully done by Shanji, and now you're in a lot of trouble here as anyone's legend. Like, you have good scaling with the Gangplank, you have great scaling in the fact that you've got an Aphelios and a Gwen on the opposite side. Now, we did say downside is engages, but if you walk into them, they'll kill you.
Xiaohao is permanently caught out in this bottom side of the map. He's going to go down again. Abel with a 4th kill. We're 11 minutes in, and OMG have 9 kills, 7 of which are on their biggest carries. And I would say biggest carries, as if Gwen isn't a huge carry in of herself. This is nightmare situation for AL, because this is a team that doesn't win through the early game. This is a team that wins through the late game, but not when they fall massively behind like this.
No, it's fine. Look, Xiaohao is just going full cosplay. He's completely trolling anyone's legend right now. It's all fine. But it may not be fine anymore, because here comes Creme and the tower's dead.
Oh no, that's going to be first tower and a bonus kill as well onto Chocho. Abel dodges the kiss, the sad mummy as well, but Creme will finish him off with a 5-point strike. And he said pie point, which would have been hilarious.
Yeah, look, at this stage, Creme just needs to forget about your mythic. Just upgrade the bloody Dark Seal. Get your value out of this. Because right now, the stock is there. You just need to invest in it right now. It's skyrocketing. Just give yourself the gold that you need. Shanji moving back up here to get this massive wave on the top side. Dragon in 15 seconds. Do you even glimpse at a dragon here as anyone's legend? Like, no, I don't know.
Not a hope.
OMG.
Not a hope.
Like, this was not the way I expected this game to go. I knew that anyone's legend, a little bit slow in the early stages, and I knew that OMG, when they were at their best, it was through these early advantages, but this is a stomp, and so much of it is coming through from Aki with great jungle pathing, great understanding of how he can help Creme have presence in this mid lane, leaning that into bot side pressure, like, kind of just working through all the different systems that he needed to get these leads. And now we're sitting 13 minutes in, a 5k gold lead. I mean, that's absolutely insane at this stage.
Yeah, and so much of it has been down to Aki counter-jungling for the entire first quarter of the game, basically. And then controlling these objectives. He is every single place that Xiaohao goes to, answering the plays that are trying to come out from anyone's legend. It's just beautiful to witness, honestly. And you can see that, you know, on the side of AL, like you said, there is some scaling there in the Gangplank, but not comparatively to what OMG bring to the table. Shanji finding himself a solo kill up in that top side as well, which honestly, this matchup, I was kind of curious for, because, you know, while Shanji has been an absolute monster this split, ZDZ's had a pretty good split for himself as well, and I was sort of hoping that we'd have a banger matchup there, but I mean, Shanji's so far just rinsing.
And the thing is, ZDZ even said in interviews, this is his most comfortable champion. Like, he knows this champion inside and out. So the fact he's struggling this much on the Gangplank says a lot about what OMG have brought to the table. But it's not even just this top lane matchup. Like, across the board, these are matchups that anyone's legend should be winning. Like, Forge should have push and control over mid. You should have Betty and Chocho winning bot side. But because OMG have played this so well, you don't get a chance. And Betty,
yeah, that's confident.
Not a
that's
huge
confident
amount of damage.
Right he did have two teammates nearby, but yeah, I mean, it's just a level difference, right? It's 2 levels down on that Akali. So yes, it's a Draven with a Sheen and an Eclipse, but it does not matter when you're this far behind the enemy mid laner. I mean, obviously he should be behind an XP versus a mid laner, but makes it difficult for him to really exact any significant vengeance on that Akali for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, look, you don't have to as Creme to try and get any sort of damage off of mid lane. You're winning elsewhere. Abel gets top tier 1. Nice stuff. Now he's got 2 towers to his name. He's going to be very quickly accelerated. ZDZ very much trying to play sneaky, but I think they know where he is anyway, so he will just get the wave and clear it out. Now you reset, you put Abel in towards mid lane. Creme will move over towards the sides, although as I say that, looks like they're just going to go in straight over towards this Rift Herald before they look for those resets.
Going to be moving over to that Herald, as you say. So you see, just trying to clear this wave in the top side. And like the Drake, there's just not a hope that we could see a contestation out from anyone's legend. I like that they are at least respecting that, though. They are saying, look, we can't fight right now. And Chocho is moving down to the bottom side. Maybe a 2v1 available here onto Shanji, who's playing pretty aggressively, trying to clear the wave here. 100 gold from the minions. There's a kiss and sad mummy into a knockback. Damage from Forge, and easy as you like. Anyone's legend, great job there.
Yeah, the nerf towards the healing early on Shanji definitely coming into a factor there alongside the Ignite means he's not getting that insane healing off that we see ever so often coming through from the Gwen. So nice job from anyone's legend to pick that one up. Rift Tower goes across though. We got the book completed now for Creme in that mid lane too. Like, it's a nice pick, but you kind of need several of these now if you're anyone's legend to try and bring this one back, because Crown of the Shattered Queen, incredibly defensive for Forge. Not going to be churning out anywhere near as much damage, or even the CC chain that could help dealing with someone like Creme. ZDZ is a long way from being relevant as well.
That was one of the most satisfying things I've ever seen. ZDZ just killed an entire wave with a barrel that also finished his cull. So he got all of the pop-ups to the CS, plus all of the bonus Gangplank pop-ups from the parlay, plus a 350 gold pop-up from the cull. That was, as an AD carry main, seeing that many gold flashes on the screen, I can't control my brain. That was just too much dopamine.
If only it was for your game rather than ZDZ. But Creme now on the flank. Here's this what we're saying. OMG popping in towards mid lane, getting that outer turret down as well now, looking for one more charge, but everyone's legends here, so they will just back it up.
Will they? Chocho, no ultimate available, remember, so it's a difficult one. I'd love to take a look at the adoration stacks, because it's a while since Betty died at this point. I feel like he's got to be pretty close to you know, a few hundred adoration once again. You get quite a lot from just CSing, and he has been doing a decent job of CSing, so he should have a reasonable amount. If he can do well in this next fight, Draven is one of those champions that can just suddenly become a danger once again.
Yeah, the problem is, though, the dragon is in 30 seconds. This is the third dragon for OMG, so OMG now going to reset. You'll end up with, like, second item here for Abel. You'll very much be completing at least half your next item for Creme. Shanji going to be in a great spot, especially since they cracked open mid to tier 1 and the tier 2. That's a lot of extra gold that's gone over in their favor. Looks like the OMG sticking around a hell of a lot longer than I expected, so maybe just trying to make sure anyone's legend can't come across to this objective, as yeah, I just don't know how anyone's legend try and do anything in this game right now.
Yeah, I mean, they don't, is the answer, Dagda. Not for the time being. That's going to be a situation for later on in 5 minutes when that Dragon Soul comes alive, and it's going to be a question of perhaps one big final fight, but I don't think it's quite over, right? It's a 5,000 gold lead. It's definitely dire situation at 18 minutes. I don't want to underplay the lead that OMG have. They're definitely a massive favorite at this point. But it's not quite over, right? You've got an Akali on the enemy team with a Medjai's. 1 kill onto her will kind of ruin her day. 400 gold bounty there. 400 gold bounty on Abel as well. And Betty will have a bunch of those adoration stacks. So it is one of those situations where, yes, it's really bad for AL, but it's also, it just takes a singular fight, and suddenly everything could turn on its head.
I think the gold needs to end up on ZDZ though. If you can actually get ZDZ into a position where like these barrel combos are essentially just one-shotting people, that could be your way into this game. Like if he gets the double shutdowns, a bunch of gold in the fight as well, suddenly he completes like 2.5, 3 items. That could be the way. But it's just with the Essence Reaver not even having the Collector finish yet, it doesn't really feel like he's in a position to just massively take over a fight. The damage isn't quite there coming through from Forge, as we said already, not opting in towards either the more utility style build or like a Luden's Echo or Leandri's to try and be more of a threat. So it's hard for anyone's Legend right now to find damage dealers to get OMG into a position where they're uncomfortable.
Yeah, I will say, Betty is actually stronger than Abel despite the scoreline. When you look at their items, 2 items on Aphelios with the Bloodthirster, not going to be that much damage. The Essence Reaver Eclipse, though, for Draven at level 11. Like, Betty is going to hit like a truck if he ever gets the chance. The problem is, Creme also hits like a truck. Shanji also hits like a truck. And it's real hard for Betty to fight up against those kinds of carries. The odds of him 1v1ing Abel are pretty slim. Forge may be in trouble here as Aki just removes the reinforcement, slams him against the wall, and gifts one over to Abel. Great knock up onto ZDZ as well. The passive stacking on up. In goes Creme onto 4 here. Turns golden, waiting for the perfect execution. 5-point strike there. Look at this, just mincing them alive as Shanji as they cut AL to pieces.
Creme is a god on this Akali. That was disgusting. Goes in, baits out Chocho's ult, but has already hit the stopwatch. So Chocho gets nothing from the play, and ZDZ now might be in trouble.
Yeah, I don't think he wins this one against Creme, but then the barrel respected. Creme
Baron
just doubled his stacks on his bench eyes. He's on 20 stacks now on the Akali, and into the pit they go. Baron taken at 21 minutes. It's 14-4. This is beautiful from OMG.
I mean, great play from Aki here. Hits the Chocho out of the fight, and then they get the engage here. But watch Creme on the back of this. Like, so they're all focused on towards the tower. He dives onto Betty, stopwatch, as the ult from Chocho comes out, which means that you don't actually get to focus down Creme, and now he's still a massive threat as the rest of OMG show up, and they decimate anyone's Legends health bar. So well played by Creme.
And I just love that he's not greeding for kills there either, right? Has the perfect execution out of the Zhonya's, doesn't just try and maximize damage going for the Q first and trying to play around and then escape with the ult. He just goes away from the play with the ult immediately, gets what damage he can, but makes sure that he survives because he knows that Shanji's there, he knows that Abel is there to follow up. He's playing with his team with this Akali, and it's beautiful to see. And now, OMG in a phenomenal position. I will say, Aki, he's loving life right now. He did a great job in that early game of shutting Xiaohao down so that his laners could just do their thing, and now it is paying dividends. He doesn't have to do much in this game. All he has to do is ult someone every fight, and his team will do the rest.
And this is why Poppy's so good, right? Like, you're able to come in on flanks, force people into uncomfortable situations, and we thought that OMG would struggle with engages, but they're just doing a really good job of playing around the towers. Like, okay, well, anyone's Legend have to try and commit on towards this tower to save it. Right, we get the flank, we force an uneven fight with the Poppy ult, and it's just a really good way of forcing these fights when OMG don't actually have a huge amount of ways of doing so. Now you've got Shanji massively ahead in his top side, he's pushing in, Creme is threatening the mid lane, and at 23 minutes into the game, anyone's Legend are already forced into the base.
And might be even worse than that. There's still a minute of this Baron, and you see OMG moving over to the mid lane.
And Dragon.
The one issue that, Drake, I forgot Dragon exists. Yeah. 10 seconds until the soul for OMG. AL know it. They want to try and make a play before the Drake is available. Betty moving forwards, but I think his axes are about to reset as well. Did use the Q there to get them rolling once again. Drake on the cards. Chocho moving in. Aki on the front line here. Needs to survive. Needs to keep himself going. Betty needs the resets, but he won't get it for now. He needs to cash in. Creme on the back line. One more axe, but Betty just can't find the autos. Everyone's invisible. Betty now. Big ult across the team, but he can't finish the kills off. And now he's alone in the world as the rest of his team crumbles around him. Aki the only one to go down, but Forge took the kill.
And it doesn't even matter. Abel just looks like he's about to try and end the game here. Shanji is chasing Draven to the ends of the earth. Betty will not be allowed to reset while Shanji's on duty. The Elder Dragon, the Mountain Soul here for OMG as well.
Betty accepts his fate as he goes for the cruise.
I mean, honestly, they might be like level 3 with the way Aki has been playing.
True.
This may not be valuable at all, but the reset is eventually going to come through for Betty. ZDZ is going to respawn alongside Forge, but the damage is done. You'll see it here in the replay. Like, Aki, great engage onto Chocho once more. The knockup comes through, but Chocho does get the safety here on towards Creme. But again, watch how Creme plays. Goes over into the Shroud, stands away from Betty, who's trying to maximize damage by hitting Creme and the rest of the squad with the ultimate, but he just doesn't have enough to finish off Creme. I mean, the 3-level difference coming in clutch there for Creme.
And I just want to say, Creme is playing so respectfully. Like, he has this Medjai's, and you can tell he is not doing anything too crazy. He realizes that Betty is there, and he doesn't have his cooldowns available, so he just distracts Betty. He's not actually trying to find that 1v1. He's just trying to buy space for the rest of his team. And it's the same as what we saw earlier, where he perfect executions out of the fight, makes sure that he's safe, and relies on his team to clean things up. It feels like Creme has really grown as a player over the course of this year, because when you think about when he first joined the LPL, it was like, yes, he's a really talented assassin, but sometimes he's going a bit too deep. Not anymore. Now he's playing with the team.
Yeah, I mean, you're just getting the best of both worlds now from Creme, and threat now from OMG onto this last, around the top tower here.
God.
So much
Even
damage
without
from
minions.
Abel.
Even without
that's
minions.
insane.
That is disgusting right now. It's only 25 minutes in. It's already a Mountain Soul in case Draven needed a harder fight for himself. He now has to go against that Mountain Soul as well. 18 kills to 5 as the entire base is taken apart here by OMG. There is a wave at the bottom side, but it's about 1 million miles away. Cold is going to be dropping some wards here as he tries to escape. But it will be Creme going to set that wave up. And I feel like we are just doing the formalities here, Dagda, as this one is looking like a dub for OMG, and it's looking clean as well.
Yeah, we may have needed to include OMG on our Don't Say We Didn't Tell You graphic, because this is confident from OMG. This is absolutely incredible. Now, I know OMG have had some good games like this and can fall apart in the next one, but realistically, like, this is a confident start for OMG in this series.
Oh, Chocho, curse the sad mummy going in here. Betty is low, though. Oh my god, the Infernum damage. ZDZ falls as Creme is here as the cleanup crew, and he flashes out to safety as well. There is nothing AL can do about this one. This is OMG's base now. Their Nexus in tatters as Cold just buys space for the rest of his squad to end the game. We thought this was going to be close, but OMG, they don't like that idea.
Betty will never get to cash in. 8-1 on the Aphelios, 6-0 on the Akali. Poppy popping off. This is why I wanted to see it in the series number 1, because my word, that was a statement game from OMG.
Yeah, beautiful stuff, and so good to see them doing this, because OMG is a team that are battling for playoffs, and I mean capital B on the battling, because they did not have that great of a start to the split. This was a team that was struggling right down towards the bottom of the standings to start us off. But over the course of the split, they have been developing. They have been getting better. And statistically, honestly, when you look at this team's statistics, they don't look good. Like, we showed them at the start of the day. Realistically, the early game doesn't look good. The late game doesn't look good. But when you watch the play, they have a ton of unique picks that they all like to go for. They're very much happy to go for these like personal favorite picks, and it makes drafting against them harder. But then when you get into those team fights, it feels like the coordination for this team is just on another level.
Yeah, it's been incredible to watch how that has leveled up. Especially when, honestly, I'm not going to lie, I feel like banning Samira is a buff for OMG. That champion is not doing well for Abel. In a lot of scenarios, he's picked it in some terrible spots. So I'm actually delighted to see when Abel is on things like the Aphelios. He really likes these short-range carries, staying with things like the Zeri. Like, this is the style that I feel like he feels most comfortable on. I mean, compared with Creme on comfort, you look at Aki having the ability to control and dictate the pace in this early game. It's non-stop control for OMG. Shanji even getting the solo kill on the top side. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's puts him up into 3rd place, I want to say, for most solo kills in the league at the moment, because he is doing exceptional stuff in that top side.
Shanji is just a monster. And, you know, it wasn't even that big of an opportunity that ZDC gave him. Just Shanji more than happy to walk under that tower. A 15,000 gold lead at the end of that as well. More than 500 gold lead per minute at the side of OMG. They certainly know how to finish things off, and able with a 19 KDA at the end of things. I mean, we can just reel stats off you guys, if you'd like us to. But, I mean, the long and short of it here is OMG looking good.
Yeah, and I want to correct that. Shanji is actually second in the league for solo kills. And adding that one will put him one step closer to getting up with the Shy there. He's on 15. So he's 1 kill away from taking the top spot. So really, really good stuff from Shanji. And this is why he's been such a menace. Like we talked about the Shyvana the whole way, essentially through the draft. He was able to bring out your meta stuff like the Gwen. He got a respect ban of the Rumble as well. Like Shanji has been so difficult for teams to deal with. And this is why, as you say, like I love a team like OMG. We're like, we understand the meta. We can play the meta, but we don't have to play the meta. And they can bring out all these cool picks, these cool compositions that are very much set for them. Like even the Akali coming out for Creme here, and you have to respect it. Now coming into game 2, it's like anyone's legend, what are you going to do? Because you got dominated by Aki on the Poppy pick. Creme looked fantastic into your Taliyah in the mid lane as well. And Abel popping off on the Aphelios with the everything else that was going on. So where do you try and put your attention now? It feels so difficult as anyone's legend.
I think crucially that early game, Aki just ruining Xiaohao.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say. And I will say, like you said, Shanji getting close to the Shy solo kills in his debut year. This is his rookie year in the LPL, and he's challenging big names like the Shy. Unbelievable from Shanji. We're going to jump into a break, and we'll see if they can keep that ball rolling.